Hello, this is Dr. Kamani, licensed clinical psychologist, and you are here for Baby Steps and DEI, Black Women and Toxic Jobs. So I wanted to talk about this because I've done other videos about Stop Playing Diversity, which shout out to my Spelman sister, Dr. Monica Cox, who created the term Stop Playing Diversity and trademarked it. So proud of her. But I wanted to talk about this because I keep having these exchanges and conversations that are not rubbing me the right way. And I'm sure many of us who are in organizations have experiences as well in terms of performative diversity and the harm that it causes us. So, again, I've done a number of videos about Stop Playing Diversity. Please check those out on my YouTube channel, Lifting Us with Climb Consulting Wellness Services. But I wanted to talk about ways that the message of baby steps with DEI and not making people uncomfortable and not moving too fast, how all of these things really are reinforcing of white supremacy. So it really undermines the work. So I just want to just break down a few things, okay? So I remember this because I remember one of my guests, Yvonne Austin, talked about DEI light. So we can do DEI work just as long as it doesn't make people uncomfortable, as long as it's not causing too many changes, okay? So when you think about DEI light, what is happening in your organization if they are so-called focused on DEI work, DEI efforts? And many times I think they're like just DEI gestures. It's just more so in terms of what they're saying, but the actions don't really equate to any real transformative changes. So even the notion of DEI light and not making people uncomfortable and baby steps, okay? So when that happens, it's important to really question whose comfort are we centering and why? Why is it that some people, we need to have consideration for them in terms of their comfort level, but never mind the comfort level of those who are being oppressed in the workplace, never mind them, right? So they should sacrifice anything for the comfort of other people. So when you think about that, it's just reinforcing white supremacy that's within our system. So it's reinforcing it, and it also reinforces the social hierarchy within the workplace. So again, you're saying that certain people who are perceived to be higher up in the social hierarchy, that their comfort level needs to be protected. Okay. But people who are so called lower in the social hierarchy, it doesn't matter about their sense of safety in the workplace or them feeling uncomfortable by the toxic conditions in the workplace. Again, doesn't make any sense. Okay. Another thing that I have experienced and heard about as well is this, I guess it's coupled with the discomfort, is not wanting to say what is really happening. So there's a big fat pink elephant in the room, but nobody wants to say that. It's very bizarre. Like to me, it even feels like that's crazy making because it's telling people don't speak to what you're seeing or don't speak to the reality because again, it's going to make you uncomfortable. So I'm speaking of a situation where I was a part of this, well, I am still a part of this organization, not a workplace, but an organization. And they have resistance to using the word white supremacy, even though that's what they're talking about, even though the efforts and what's being happened is supposed to be dismantling white supremacy, but there's pushback about using the word white supremacy. That's crazy making. How are you not, or how are you saying you cannot use the word? What message is that reinforcing? That is reinforcing white supremacy, which is crazy. So you're talking about how to dismantle white supremacy, yet the refusal to say white supremacy, you're reinforcing that within systems because you are making it seem that it's a bad thing to call out what's really happening. And again, we're centering the comfort of some people over others. That is reinforcing white supremacy. Okay. Just again, it's just okay. So if you are in situations where your organization, it feels like It's very much DEI light. I remember the previous job that I was working, I've talked about so many ridiculous things, such as um, during COVID, uh, how they decided, or they wanted to propose. They came to our small working group and they wanted to show roots to kids during COVID because their perception was that it will help people have a better understanding of the experience of Black people in America. Ridiculous. Okay. So that was performative. But when we think about baby steps, again, in my previous organization, um, people were told, or we were told, to do some things, but don't make people too uncomfortable. Don't do two things that are too radical, right? So let's just kind of ease people into things because we don't want to make certain people uncomfortable. I was actually told that, and I always push back on that. Like, what about why are we doing that? And what about other people who don't have the luxury of having their comfort level centered? So that, and being told if because I used to work for a school district, so being told that not really advocating for true transformative changes for Black students because that would be rocking the boat too much. And we don't want to make people uncomfortable. And we have to like kind of ease into the process. I reject that. I could not get on board with that. I don't believe in that. I don't believe that Black kids should have to wait in terms of progress or services or anything because other people are uncomfortable about that. I disagree with that. And I hope that you disagree with that too. So something else, and this is the last thing I want to say before I sign off. The baby steps and the DEI light or the performative diversity might even play out in terms of how you are seen and how you are treated in the workplace. So it may be something like, we really appreciate you. We love what you bring to the organization, all these different things. Yet there's some message there that people are uncomfortable by your credentials. People are uncomfortable about the work you do, even though you're brought in to do the work, even though you were brought in based upon your credentials. You might receive that message. I know for me, I received feedback from someone who did not look like us, a woman. And she said, so it was me and another Black woman who had doctorates. And she was saying, we should not refer to ourselves as doctor because it would make people uncomfortable. Just sit with that. Okay. So it's just like all these ridiculous things that you might encounter where people are telling you to play baby steps. And it's like we're past that. We're past baby steps. And why is it that certain people need to wait and be patient? How long do we have to be patient for? We've been patient for a long time. Okay. So again, if you are in DEI spaces, you may have also experienced this. And I want to talk about it because even though that's not my work organization anymore, because I've resigned and I do my own stuff and I can do DEI on my own terms, I engage in full on anti racist practices in my work. But if this is you, again, recognize for what it is and think about, okay, do I want to continue to collude with this in the sense of, okay, I won't say white supremacy. I can't do that, but I don't know if you're able to do that. But just think about for yourself, is this something that's okay with you? Or it might be a situation where you might feel like I can kind of go along with this because I'll see the bigger picture and change is slow and all of that. But I just want to take a moment to talk about it because I know for me that's not something that I'm okay with in terms of taking baby steps with DEI. So my hope is that there's enough of us who are saying no, baby steps is not okay, because that leads to really nothing. And what it might lead to is just reinforcing not only white supremacy, but also reinforcing performative DEI gestures. We're past that. We deserve better than that. Okay. Okay. So this very brief video. So if you have not already subscribed to this channel, please do so. Lifting as we climb, consulting, wellness services. Also give this video a thumbs up. It lets YouTube know to suggest this video to other Black women and share this video with other Black women. Okay, take care. Bye-bye.